Hello and welcome to another quick tutorial for the dynamic selection wheel. So I got a question on how to make the dynamic selection wheel or use the dynamic selection wheel as a menu system. So that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to go ahead and turn the dynamic selection wheel into a pause menu, which the method that I'm going to do that can also be used for main menus and submenus of any sort. So let's go ahead and get started. So right off the bat, this is just a first-person project, a 4.9 first-person project that I imported the dynamic selection wheel into, and all we're going to do, first off, we're going to use the example character instead of a character that we set up on our own. So this can be applied to whatever it needs to be. And let's see here, get rid of that. I already set up any key bindings that we need. So first off, I guess let's go ahead and get our pause set up. So I'm just going to use the P button to pause, so I'll pull that up and get the P button. And now, because it's going to be paused, we want to execute the P button even when paused. So we need to click this checkbox up here, and now it will work when the game is paused. And now we need to actually just pause the game. So P-A-U-S-E, set game to paused. And we need to make sure that this is set to true. And now, when we go into the game, it will be paused when we press P. But we need to be able to unpause, so instead of just using a flip-flop node here, I'm going to use a branch. So grab our branch, move this over, and we want to decide if the game is paused or not. So is paused. So if the game is paused, we want to set the game to be unpaused. Oop, I got that mixed up, don't I? If the game is paused, then we want to set it to unpause. So let's just flip those around. And if it is not paused, we want to pause it. Now, I'm just going to crisscross these back up because I like having the paused on the top. And now what we're going to need to do is bring up a selection wheel when the game is paused. So we need to add a wheel, or we need to add a wheel so it can be open. So in order to do that, let's go ahead and flip over to our widgets and pull out the main widget. And I'm just going to add a widget to our main widget here, a user created selection wheel. And we're going to call this one the paused menu. And now we have the pause menu. So when the widget switcher is set to an active index of 2, we will be on the paused menu. So we go back to our example character, and we'll just copy this same thing down here. So grab these, copy, and paste. So now when the game is paused, we want the pause menu to show. So we need to set this to an active index of 0. And then when it's unpaused, we want it to go back to just the regular HUD. So we set it back to 0. And now we have a wheel that will come up when the pause menu is activated. Now nothing happens here because we don't have the macro set up. So we need to grab a macro and set that up. But and let's just grab the macro. I'll show you that later. So selection wheel macro, and this will be the activate and deactivate, and we need to grab our values right here. Now we can't have two of these, so we'll just drag those down and plug them in. You can make that prettier by just setting a variable to those. And we need the other things that we copied, so we'll just paste those. Now we don't want the weapon wheel as our selection wheel widget. We actually want our pause menu. So let's go ahead and set this up the right way and grab make a variable called our pause menu. So I'll just move this up here, and let's grab our HUD, and we'll use the target and get, and we want our pause menu. So let's promote this to a variable, and we'll call this pause menu, and we'll just stick it right here. Okay, compile. We have a compile error. Where is our compile error? Oh, we don't have a target in the macro, which is what we were just setting up. So we'll grab our pause menu and plug this into the selection wheel widget right here. Compile, save. And now our wheel is set up except for our tick. Now, if we went up here and we grabbed the tick from up here, so I'll just add a pin and drag all the way down here to the tick, and we compile and saved and play. When we open it up, it doesn't move, and that's because the tick is frozen when you pause the game. And that's a problem because unlike these where we can execute when paused, by the way, we need to make these execute when paused if you want thumbsticks to work on the wheel. But unlike those, you can't click on the event tick and make it work when the game is paused. So we need to do some magic and pull a tick from somewhere else. So let's go ahead and go into the main widget, go over to our graph, and this event tick here will work during the event paused. So what we need to do is we need to cast to the player. So let's go over here, and before we do that, let's actually make our custom event. So custom event, and we'll do wheel tick, and we'll plug that into our tick. But let's just unplug that, and now plug our tick in. Okay. Now we go over here, and let's go ahead and we'll do cast to example character. Let's convert this to a pure cast. Let's drag off this and do a get player character. And now we need to get our event, so wheel tick. And now we have an artificial tick for our wheel. So pause, and there we go. Now you can select stuff. So let's go back into our example character, and let's think about how we want this to work. So we don't want to have to close the wheel every time you want to select a piece, like or select a selection from the wheel, like we do with the other one. So every time you close it, it will equip whatever it is. So what we need to do is we need to actually change something in the macro. Now we don't want this to interfere with our other wheel up here, our regular wheel. So we're going to have to duplicate the macro. So let's go into the macro, and over here let's just copy this, so duplicate, and we'll just call that selection macro 0 or whatever. And now let's go back to our example character, and we need to replace the other one with this. And I don't think we can actually just replace it anywhere. No. So we're actually going to have to grab it. So selection, wheel macro 0. And now we need to transfer everything over. So let's grab this and this. And if you don't know how to do this, I'm just control and then clicking on the pins. Now that's completely replaced. And now we need to go into our selection wheel macro, and this is where we change it. So we want to be able to click and then have it select something. So we don't want to toggle our show dynamics, so let's just break that there. And we don't want the deactivate to do anything with the rotation or selecting something. So we'll just plug this into over here. And now we need to actually have this execute, which will then execute whatever's on the outside. So we need to plug this into somewhere. And since the controller pin right here, it's already there, I'm just going to use it. You can create yourself another pin down here and call it whatever you want. So we got that. And now we just need to plug whatever we need to, or plug whatever we want to activate it on this side. So I'm just going to move this right here just to make it look prettier. And now let's go ahead and do a left click. Left mouse button. Compile. There's a warning. What's the warning for? Has no valid output. That doesn't matter, does it? Well, let's just plug that in there. And save. Go back to this, compile again. There we go. And now let's play. And whenever we click, it should select something. And it's not, because this is not executing when paused. Now it should do that. Okay, so now we need to fill the wheel up with something. So let's go ahead and let's go to our pause menu. Wrong thing. Our main widget. Go to our designer. And let's see our pause menu. So I'm going to set this to 0 for now. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because we're actually going to do something a bit different for this. So I'm going to create a variable here, and let's call this pause menu. And this is going to be a selection wheel slot structure. And we're going to make that an array. And we'll compile this. I'll just go ahead and expose that. Now this is what this is the selections that are going to be on our pause wheel. So let's go ahead and add 3 in there. And just because I don't have any other texture, I'm just going to add the generic gun texture in for all of these. And we'll do a resume, because this is the pause menu. Settings. This is going to be a submenu. And quit is just going to quit. Compile and save. And now in our example character, let's go ahead and break this. Now we want something to happen here, right? So when you click on a selection on the wheel, we actually want a command to happen. So we're going to separate the command from the name. So we need another pin on the slot structure. So we'll go ahead and go to our blueprints, selection wheel slot, new variable, and we'll call this command. And we'll make this a string. Save it. And we'll go back to our example character. And we'll do a switch on string. And we'll plug this into here. And we'll add our pins for our resume, settings, and quit. So resume, settings, and quit. Now, because we're using commands, we now need to go back to our main widget and set these to actually have commands. So we'll just make the commands what we already made them. So resume and settings and quit. Okay. So now for our wheel to actually have something on it when we open it up, because right now if we open it, there should be nothing. No. Why is there a compile error? Gonna have to open up the HUD and compile. Now I can play. There's no selections on the wheel whatsoever. So what we need to do is go into our main widget, and on event construct we want to set all the pause menu selections to the wheel. So we'll get our paused menu, and we'll do a for each on this, for each loop. We'll plug it into here, and for each of these we're going to want to add a segment. So add segment, and then we're going to want to add selection on wheel, and we want to equip this. So compile and save, and now when we play and we open our wheel, we will have selections. So now nothing happens here, and that's because we haven't told it to do anything here. So on resume, we're going to want to basically just drag this back to here so that it sets the game unpaused and gets rid of the or deactivates the wheel. And then on quit, all we're going to want to do is do quit game, specific player. We'll just get the player controller, and we'll put this right here, and we'll save, compile, and now when we play, when we resume, it resumes the game. When we quit, it does that. And when we hit settings, nothing happens because we still haven't done anything for settings. So for settings, we want a submenu. And this is why we made the paused menu selections an array of selections instead of making it a completely, or instead of hardwiring it in. So hold on one second. So now we need to add another custom event into the main menu widget. So custom event, and we'll call this submenu. And we'll call this whenever we want a new submenu to be added. So we also need an input for this, and this will be submenu selections, And we need to do this as a slot structure, and we need to make it an array. So now we need to make before we add all the selections that are going to be passed through this event, we need to remove everything from the wheel that was already there. So we need to get the pause menu, and we need to do a remove all. And then after we remove everything, we need to get rid of all the segments, so we need to subtract all segments. So in order to do this, we'll get segments. And then we'll do a subtract segments. We'll plug the amount into there. So now when we click on now when we do this, it will remove everything that was already on the menu, and then you will have a blank menu. Now we need to add everything that from this from these selections here. So we need to do a for each loop. And then we need to do an add segments. So we'll pull off of this and do add segments. And we'll do one segment. And then we need to add a selection to the wheel. So we'll pull off this again and add selection on wheel. And we want to add from the array element. So now, when we have a submenu, it will add everything from the submenu in there. So now we actually need a submenu. So over here in our variables, we're going to create another one of these, and we'll do settings. This will be the settings submenu, and we'll compile, and we'll just add a couple of things in here. So like we need to be able to go back. So back. And this is why we didn't tie the command directly into the name, because we want to be able to go back to different submenus rather than just all the way back up. So this will go back to the pause menu. And we'll just add the gun icon in. We need another. And this will be sound. And we'll just do the same command. Sound. Let's do graphics. And the same command. And then finally, let's do control. Okay. So now we have a submenu. Now, save, compile, and go back to our example character. And in settings, we want to open up a submenu. So in order to do this, we need to grab, hold on one second. We need to grab our HUD widget, because that's where those variables are stored. And we need to get settings. So we get our settings array, and then we're going to pull off our HUD widget again and do submenu. So we'll plug this into here and this into settings. And then save and compile. And now that'll open up the submenu. I'm just going to add one thing in here really quick. and this will be pause menu. I believe that's what I made it. Yeah, pause menu. And we'll just duplicate this down for the pause menu. We don't need settings though. We need pause menu selections. And now when we play, pops up, we have a resume, quit, and settings. Now we're here, and these don't do anything yet because we haven't plugged any submenus into those. But we can go back, and now we're back up to here. We can resume the game, we can run around, and pause again, and go back into settings. We can change our controls if we had any set up there. And let's just set up those submenus really quick. So main menu, add another submenu. So we want sound. Oh wait, no, I didn't do this. We don't need to do this. Delete. One, two, three. Commands. And we want sound, graphics, and controls. And on each of these we want to do this. Oops. Almost forgot to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and make an array really quick. This is where you would want to set up submenus of your own, like we did with the settings inside the main widget. I'm just doing this not as an example, but just a really quick thing. Okay, now compile and save. And now when we go into our menu, so settings, sound, we go back, graphics, controls, and that's where you'd want to set up any other submenus that you want, or selections that you want. So you could go into graphics and then have something like is anti-aliasing turned on, true or false, or in controls you could have sensitivity and then have percentages, so like 10%, 5%, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you want there, and it could work like that. But this isn't what the wheel was made for, so I strongly recommend not using this as a menu. You can use it this far into the menu, and you can go into settings, and then you have an actual settings menu, because that would be much easier and far less time consuming. So anyway, I think that's all that you need to know for this. You can use this for a main menu too if you want. that was the question. Main menu and pause menu. So, I think that's it. So thanks for watching. If you have any trouble, just email me, or any suggestions, again, email me, or reach out on the forums. I'm trying to monitor those, and I hope this tutorial helped you.